Well, friends of the 8th Street Church, about 5 years ago, Oklahoma City had a major snowstorm and nearly all of the churches closed. So I wrote a note to our congregation with the title, Why We May Cancel, But We Will Never Close. It was about my conviction that in dangerous times, churches need to cancel their worship services from time to time, but they should never close their doors in order to provide a safe and warm place for those who are looking for shelter. Well, in this pandemic, I've changed my tune. Now the article would read, Why We May Close, But We Will Never Cancel. This week, I had a phone meeting with the CEO of St. Anthony Hospital, Joe Hodges, and he said that they are up to their eyeballs in COVID patients. And it's my opinion that the church should be the group of people that lead well in times of crisis. After all, Christians should pave the way so that their neighbors' lives are better rather than worse because they know Jesus people. Well, we've been trying to do that with our outdoor services, our commitment to social distancing, and our encouragement of wearing masks. For us as a city and as a nation, this holiday season will be the months where we can really lead our community and neighborhood. We will soon be coming fresh off another holiday season, and our hospitals are already full. Beds filled with COVID patients are preventing others in need from having a bed. This leaves stroke patients, heart patients, or other patients who have experienced trauma in very vulnerable positions because there is no room for them in the inn or in the hospital. Because we want to honor one another, we have capabilities for virtual worship, and because we want to lead by example, our mayor has asked churches not to meet for the next 10 days. And 8th Street is the only church that I know that is still doing only outdoor worship. But I think it would benefit us to fall in line with him and his orders this week. The COVID situation is out of control, and we can do our part to mediate the spread. I met with a kid this week, 28 years old, whose dad died of COVID. He was 58 and in perfect health. He got the disease from his stepdaughter, who is now in shame and in sadness. She has to live with this. My sister-in-law had a relative that was in a non-COVID but dire life and death situation last week, and they could not get her a life flight anywhere. All the flights and hospitals were filled up by COVID patients. But by the grace of God, a small-town doctor ended up saving her life. Finally, my brother is a top surgeon at Emory University Hospital and the chief of surgery at the VA in Atlanta, Georgia. And they've moved him again from surgery to the ICU, where he has to focus on attending COVID patients. He continues to say that this is a disease that is completely out of control. And these are just a few of the situations that this pastor has been burdened about this week. Of course, we know what has been written by Martin Luther. Luther said, use medicine, take potions which can help you, fumigate the house, yard, and street, and shun persons and places where your neighbor does not need your presence or has recovered, and act like a man who wants to help put out the burning city. What else is the epidemic but a fire which instead of consuming wood and straw devours the life and body? And you ought to think this way. Very well, by God's decree, the enemy has sent us poison and deadly offal. Therefore, I shall ask God to mercifully protect us. Then I should fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it. I shall avoid persons and places where my presence is not needed in order to not become contaminated and thus perchance infect and pollute others, and so cause their death as a result of my negligence. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected of me, and so I am not responsible for either my own death or the death of others. But only if my neighbor needs me, I shall not avoid person or place, but will go freely. As followers of Jesus, I think we can and should set the example for our congregations and the congregations around, that to not gather is the work of ministry. So I want to invite you to be sure to join us at 8thstreet.online.church at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. this Sunday. I will be there and I will want to worship with you. I'm glad that we can gather online so that we can be a church that closes, but never has to cancel. Grace and peace to you, friends. I'll see you on Sunday.